Hi guys, welcome back once again to my YouTube channel. My name is Usetale. If you're new here, this is the first time you are coming across any of my videos. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this channel, I share tutorial videos on how to cut and sew. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I recreated this dress on the left to make this beautiful one that I'm putting on in the middle. If it looks like a tutorial you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get started. So guys, for the making of this dress, you are going to be needing two colors of fabric. I'm making use of a scuba fabric, and you can see I have red and yellow. So this is a scuba fabric. This is the soft scuba fabric, okay? So there are thick ones and there are soft ones, you can see. So I have two of them, and each of them I have 2 yards. So in total I have it to be 4 yards, two of the red and two of the yellow. And I also have this yellow cotton bias that I'll be using to pipe the neck. These are the body measurements that you're going to be needing. These are my personal body measurements. So do well to write down your own personal body measurement. Now to draft the pattern, you can see that I folded my pattern paper into two. First of all, you're going to use your mastic tape to tape your pattern paper together. Then you're going to fold it together like this, making sure that it is up to your round hip measurement divided by 2 plus extra 10 inches. Then you're going to rule a line here, which is going to serve as the shoulder line. Now you place the tape on the shoulder line, you measure to the bust line, you take it all the way to the hip line, then you're going to take the full length of the dress. I'm making use of full length of 38 inches. I will just mark it here. Then I will come forward here and mark the same thing. So the bust line, the hip line, then I will take the full length of the dress. I'm going to connect these dots now with my straight ruler. After ruling out all the lines, you're going to label them. This is the bust line, this other one is the hip line, and here is the full length line. Okay, now this first line here is the shoulder line. I'm going to come to the shoulder line and I will take the shoulder measurement divided by 2. From that mark, I will come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. Then here I will take 3 inches for the neck width and 3.5 inches for the neck depth. Now I'm going to connect the shoulder slope with my straight ruler. Then I will use the curve ruler to create a round neckline here. Now the next thing is to get the armhole depth, also known as the arm's eye, and to do that you're going to come down from this shoulder slope by your round bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, and whenever I do that I have 7.5. Okay, so I just marked it. Now I'll measure my shoulder measurement divided by 2 on this area here. I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect from the shoulder line there, then I'll connect it out as well. After doing that, you label it the chest line. Now on this chest line, you're going to take your round bust measurement divided by 4. Then you'll be adding extra ½ inch to it for ease. So what you got as your round bust measurement divided by 4, you will add extra ½ inch to it. Then on this line, you will divide what you have here into 2 and get half of it. So from that mark you just made, you will go in by ½ inch. Now you're going to connect the armhole. First of all, use your straight ruler to connect like this. Then you're going to use your curve ruler to connect from this point all the way to this other end. So guys, that is it. So this pattern paper is what I'm going to be using to cut for both the front and the back. So for the back neckline, I will just come down here by 1 inch. Okay, then I'm going to rule it out. The back is not going to have a zipper, it's going to have button instead. So this first one is the back neckline, you label it B, and this other one is the front neckline, you label it F. Now I've already taken my round bust measurement. I'll come to the hip line here. I'll take the round hip measurement divided by 4. I'm going to be adding extra 3 inches to it to give it that A-line effect. I'll be adding extra 3 inches to the hip line. Here I added extra ½ inch, but here I'll be adding 3 inches. If you have a bigger size, you can make it 3.5 or 4 inches, okay? For my case, I will add extra 3 inches to it just like this. Now I'm going to connect. I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect from the chest line all the way to the hip line here just like this. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to the full length line. Can you see what I'm doing, guys? Just like this. Now, after you are done connecting like that, you will measure what you have from here to the end, what I have is 14. Then you measure what you have again from here to the end. I have 14 and a half. So that extra half inch, I'll just mark it out. Then I'm going to use my curve ruler to just curve it out just like this. So guys, this is it for the drafting of the pattern. So I'm going to be using this particular pattern paper to cut for both the front and the back piece. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead to cut it out. I'll be cutting the back neckline. Okay, so go ahead and cut the back neckline and cut everything out. After you are done cutting, guys, this is what you're going to have. You can see, I'm going to be modifying this pattern now for us to be able to divide it for the two colors of fabric we'll be using. So just open it up on the table like this. I'm going to be dividing it like this. Okay, so in order for me to do that, at the shoulder area here, I will come down by 2 inches. Okay, then at the end here, I'm going to go up by 4 inches. Now I'm going to use my straight ruler to connect from this point to meet the other point. So you're just going to place your straight ruler on it like this. So just double it, make sure everything is going straight. You can see that's why I'm making use of two straight ruler. Okay, so just go ahead and connect it just the way you see me doing. So guys, after you are done ruling out the lines like this, then I'm going to go ahead now to cut it. Now that I've successfully divided the pattern paper into two, okay, I'm going to be labeling which one is which. So this bigger one is going to be the red fabric. Okay, so label it the red fabric, and the smaller one is going to be the yellow fabric. So guys, that is it for the pattern drafting of the bodice. Okay, now it's time to draft the sleeve. I'll be drafting out a basic long sleeve first. The basic long sleeve is what I'm going to be modifying to get the balloon sleeve later. So to draft the basic long sleeve, you're going to rule a line here, which is going to serve as a starting line. Now the length of the sleeve I'm making use of is 23 inches, and it's going to have a band. So the band is going to be 2.5 inches. So 23 minus 2.5 gave me 20.5. I'm going to take 20.5 on my pattern paper. Then I'm going to rule it out just like this. After doing that, now to get the sleeve cap, I'll come down here by 5 inches. Then I'm going to use my ruler to rule a slanted line from the top to that point that I made. On this slanted line, I'm going to take the armhole measurement divided by 2. For my case, it is 8.5 inches. Okay, I'm going to mark it. Now I'm going to be getting half of 8.5. So I'll just place my tape together like this to mark half of 8.5. Now to draw the sleeve cap, so from this end to the first half that I have there, I'll just go up here by about half inch. So go up by about half inch here. Then you're going to connect from the top here to meet the first half. Then here you will flip your ruler to the other side. Then you go down by about 0.25. Okay, then you're going to connect from the other points to meet the other half. That is how you are going to get your perfect sleeve cap. Now on this curve, I'll measure what I have to be sure it's up to my armhole measurement. So it's exactly what I need. Here, I'll just come down here by about 7 inches like this. Then from that mark, I will take my round arm measurement divided by 2. Then I'll come to the end here. I'm going to take my round wrist measurement divided by 2. Now I'm going to use my ruler to connect the dots. So connect here to here. Then you're going to connect from here all the way to the end. So guys, after doing that, now you're just going to blend out any sharp edge. Then go ahead to cut this out. So guys, this is it for the drafting of the basic sleeve. Now I'm going to be drawing lines on it where I'm going to be cutting in order for me to modify it for the balloon sleeve. So I'll just mark 1 inch. You can see I'm just marking 1 inch here. Now I'm going to connect it up in form of a straight line. I'm going to be cutting this line open later so that we can modify this sleeve to get the balloon sleeve. So guys, that is it for the drafting of the sleeve and for the drafting of all the patterns. Now we'll be transferring the patterns to the fabric. So you can see I'm using the red pattern to cut on the red fabric. You see what I'm doing, and you can see I'm also adding half inch to all the sides for the sewing allowances. So that's what you are supposed to do. So make sure to add half inch to the side. At the end here, you can see what I'm adding is up to 1 inch. Okay, so just add all the sewing allowances to it just like that. So that is it for the cutting of the red piece. So this one that I cut now is the front piece. I'm also going to be cutting out exactly the same thing on my yellow fabric for the back piece. Okay, you can see. So guys, this is the front piece that I have now. I'll be using this to cut on my yellow fabric for the back piece. You are going to mark out the wrong face of the yellow fabric. So that is the wrong face that you are seeing right there. And for the red fabric, I will also mark out the wrong face. Now you're going to be placing the wrong face of the red fabric together with the wrong face of the yellow fabric. You can see the wrong faces are going to be facing each other like this. Can you see what I did, guys? So just make sure that the wrong faces are facing each other, and you're going to pin the two fabrics together, then go ahead to cut it out. After you're done cutting it out, the red one is the front and the yellow one is the back. I'm going to place them aside. For the cutting of the other half of the front piece, I'm going to be using the yellow fabric. So I already placed my pattern paper on the yellow fabric. For now, I'll just cut out the back neckline. Later, I'll be modifying it to cut the front neckline. So just go ahead and cut it out, making sure that you add all the sewing allowances to all the sides, just the way you see me doing. After you're done cutting it out, guys, this is what you're going to have. So I will remove my pattern paper now, then I will use it to cut on the red fabric for the back piece. Okay, I'll be cutting at exactly the same thing. So guys, I've already placed it on the red fabric in order for me to cut out the back. You're going to also make sure that the wrong face of your yellow fabric is facing the wrong face of your red fabric. Okay, so the two wrong faces should also be facing each other, just exactly the same thing that we did when we were cutting out the other piece. Okay, so place the wrong faces together and you're going to trace it out just the way you see me doing. So guys, after you are done cutting it out like that, so this is it. The red one is for the back and the yellow one is for the front. Now I'm going to be modifying the neckline of the yellow one. To do that, I'll just cut out the front neckline from the pattern paper. Now I'm going to place the pattern paper on the yellow fabric to trace out the neckline of the front. So first of all, pin it down with your pin like this, then go ahead to trace it out just like this. So you can see I also gave it half inch for the sewing allowance. So guys, that is it for the cutting of all the pieces. So we are going to be joining each of the two pieces together. So the red one is what I'll be joining to this yellow one for the front. So guys, this is how it is going to be. Can you see? So you're going to be joining them together like this. So you will join the yellow and the red together to make the front piece, and you will do the same thing to the back as well. So just join the red and the yellow together here for the back piece. Now it's time to cut this sleeve. To do that, the first thing I will do is to be cutting this line. I'll just cut this line. Don't cut it all the way to the end, okay? So just leave it like a little bit of space there so that it wouldn't go apart. So after you're done cutting it open like this, you can see I'm going to be spreading it open on my fabric like this to cut the balloon sleeve. I'm also going to be joining the two colors of fabric together for the sleeve, okay? So the yellow is going to be for the front part and the red will be for the back part, okay? You can see I label it F and B, which means front and back. I'll be cutting one sleeve at a time. Then I'm going to bring the pattern paper now, then I'll place it on the fabric just like this. You can see how I'm arranging it. So just go ahead and pin it down at the top there, at the middle here, and also at the end here. You can see that what I pinned is not straight. It's going to be a little bit slanted, okay? Now you're going to spread it open using 2 or 3 inches, okay? It totally depends on how wide you want it to be. So for my case, I'm spreading mine using 3 inches. So just spread each of the pieces with 3 inches and you're going to pin it down. So after you're done doing like that, you're just going to connect from one pattern paper to the other, just the way you see me doing. okay. After you're done connecting, now go ahead and cut this out. So you are going to add half inch to all the sides when you are cutting for the sewing allowances. You can see I'm adding half inch to all the sides while I'm cutting, and at the end here I added up to 1 inch to the end, okay. So guys, this is for one sleeve. I'm going to be using this now to cut on my fabric again for the second sleeve, making sure that the front is going to be yellow and the back will be red. So guys, after cutting out the second sleeve, this is what I have. You can see yellow for the front, yellow for the front, and back is red and the back is red as well. So that's how you're supposed to cut out the sleeves. I also went ahead to cut out these pieces for the band. So I cut it out with 3 inches, okay. I cut it out 3 inches. The band is 2.5 inches. The extra half inch is for the sewing allowance, and here I cut it out with 10 inches. My round wrist is 9 inches. The extra 1 inch is for the sewing allowance, and I cut them on fold, okay. So you're going to cut it on fold. So guys, that is it for the cutting of the sleeve. Now I'm going to place them aside, then we start sewing. To sew this, the first thing I'm going to do is to join the yellow fabric of the front with the red fabric of the front as well. So just place it together like this, and you're going to pin it down, okay. Because you are working with a fabric that is a bit stretchy, so you have to pin it down before taking it to your sewing machine to sew. If not, it's going to be stretchy and it will not align well. So after pinning, you can see here is even a bit excess. Don't worry, just go ahead and sew it down like that. This is what I had after I was done sewing. I went ahead to open up the seam and I ironed it flat, okay. And I also did the same thing to the back piece, okay. So that is it. This area here that is currently looking excess, you can see even the back piece is looking too big. I'm going to be trimming it out. So just fold your fabric together like this. So the other side that is straight, the other side that is perfect, you're going to use it to trim out all the excesses that you have there. So after you're done placing them together, so just go ahead and trim it out just the way you see me doing. So guys, you can see I'm done trimming it. Now when you open it up, you're going to see that it is perfect. So you will do the same thing to the back piece as well. So guys, now that we are done trimming out all the excesses, the next thing I'm going to do now is to work on the button area of the back. So I told you we are going to be putting button on it. To do that, I'll fold the fabric together into two like this. Then I'm going to be cutting it open. So how deep I want the button area to be is about 4.5 inches or 5 inches. It depends on how big your head is. So I just came down with 4.5 inches and I cut it open. I'm going to be using this little fabric here to turn it. I've already cut out exactly what I need. It is 6 inches long and it is about 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to, just place it on this area here. Then I'll mark where I cut it to. So I'll just cut this little piece open as well. So after cutting it like that, you're going to be sewing it to this, neck area. So this is the right side here. I already hemmed it round. I'll place the right side to the right side of my fabric. Then I'll bring this little piece that I've already folded. So I have it to be 2 inches long. So just fold it together like this in form of a loop, okay. Then you're going to place it inside. So place it inside, then place the flap on it. Now you're going to take it to the sewing machine, then you will sew like this, then you sew it up as well. Then after sewing, you flip it to the right side. So this is what I had after I was done sewing. So I made a notch, then I iron it out. So this is what you're going to have. You can see how the front is looking. So this little loop now is what I'll be using for my buttonhole. So I'm just going to pin it down for now. After you are done doing that, now you're going to be joining the shoulders together. Now you're going to place the front piece on it, the right sides facing each other. Then you're going to join the shoulders. This is what I had after I was done joining the shoulders, guys. You can see. Now the next thing I'm going to do now is to pipe the neck, okay. So I'm going to be using the cutting bias to do that. First of all, I'll just fold it in here like this. Then I'm going to place it on the right side of my fabric, the right side, okay. Then you're going to sew it round. when you get to this end here, you also fold the cutting bias just the way I did here before you finish it up. This is what I had after I was done sewing cutting bias around the neckline. I also went ahead to make notches on it. Okay, so after making notches, now you flip your fabric to the wrong side. You're going to be top stitching it. So just fold your cutting bias on your fabric like this. Make sure that it is not showing at the front, then top stitch it round. This is what I had after I was done top stitching as I demonstrated. You can see from the back, so clean. Okay, so guys, that is it for the piping of the neck line. Now I'm going to be placing this piece aside now, then we work on the sleeve. So guys, to sew the sleeve, I already went ahead to join the two pieces of the sleeve together, as you can see. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to make gathered stitches on it. So I'm just going to take it to the sewing machine. I will sew two loose stitches on it that I'm going to use to gather it. I will do the same thing to the other one. So this is what I had after I was done sewing the gathered stitches on it. Now I'm going to be pulling the excess threads in order to give it gather effect. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So guys, after I was done pulling the threads, so this is what I had, you can see. Now I will bring the band piece. You can see the band is stretchy. Now I'm going to place it on my fabric. I will stretch it out to align very well. Then I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew it. I'll do the same thing to the other sleeve. This is what I had after I was done sewing the band to the sleeve. Okay, you can see this is how it's looking like from the back. Now I'm going to be attaching it to my fabric. Remember that the yellow part is the front. Okay, the yellow part of the sleeve is the front. You're going to be sewing it to your fabric, making sure that the yellow part of the sleeve is sewn to the front side. Okay, so just go ahead and attach your sleeve to it. This is what I had after I was done sewing the sleeve to it, guys. Can you see? So this is it. And after sewing the sleeve, I went ahead to mark out where the pocket is going to be. You can see I already make notches on where the pocket will be. So from the armhole area here, I just came down by 6.5 inches. Then I made a notch. And how wide the pocket is going to be from one notch to the other, I have 6 inches. If you have a bigger size, you use 6.5 inches. Okay, so here to here 6 inches, and here to here 6 inches or 6.5 inches, depending on your size. And I did the same thing to this other side. Now I'm going to cut out the pocket. So I will also be making use of the two colors of fabric. So I'll just place the two red fabric together like this. Then I'm also going to place the two yellow fabrics on it to cut out the pocket, guys. First of all, you are just going to trim out this edge here. So after you are done trimming, so just trim out all the unnecessary parts. Make sure that everything is even. So the length of my pocket is 11.5 inches. If you have more fabric, make yours up to 12 or 12.5 inches. At the end here, I'll take 6.5 inches for the width of the pocket. And at the top here, I'm going to mark 5 inches. I'm just going to connect it like this all the way to the top. Then when I get to the top, I'll just curve it out just the way you see me doing. Okay. Then after curving it out like that, go ahead and cut it out. So guys, this is it for the cutting of the pocket. Now I'm going to be sewing this to the fabric. So I'm just going to sew it to the size of the fabric here. So I'll place the yellow on the yellow part and I'll place the red on the red part. So just make sure it goes up from the notch by about ½ inch. Then you sew from one notch to the other, okay? Then you're going to take the red. You will place it on the red side of your fabric. So you will sew from one notch to the other. Then you're going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Okay, so sew the red to the red and the yellow to the yellow. So guys, this is it. This is what I had after I was done sewing the pockets to the fabric, as you can see. Now I'm going to pin this area together. I'm just going to place my fabric together, make sure that everything is well aligned, and you're going to pin it down. Now after pinning, you're going to mark where the notches are. So here is where the notch is and here is where the notch is. Okay, so now I'm going to start sewing from the sleeve. I'll just place my fabric together, then I'll join it down. Then from the armhole, I'm just going to continue to sew. When I get to the notch here, Okay, I will stop. So I will not sew this side, then I will continue to sew from the other notch all the way to the end. So just sew from the sleeve down to this point, don't sew the space there, then sew all the way to the end. Then you're going to sew the pockets together as well. Then after doing that, you will do the exact same thing to this other side. This is what I had after I was done joining the sides, just exactly the way I demonstrated. Can you see? So this is it, guys. You can see. So this is the pocket. You can see what I have now. And after I was done doing that, I went ahead to hem the down part. So I hemmed it round. And after hemming, I also put button to the back area here. So guys, that is it for the making of this beautiful dress. I cannot wait to see what you are going to recreate as your own. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.